Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The third named storm of hurricane season is formed and is headed to the Carolinas. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Miller. Tropical storm Chantel is expected to make landfall in South Carolina tomorrow. Meteorologist Grant Skinner joins us from the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how this storm will impact us here.
We're already seeing some tropical moisture making its way in our direction, some low cloud cover, some isolated downpours out there into this afternoon and evening. You'll see on Duodoppler 5000 those scattered showers working their way from east to west, some packing a good bit of lightning, but those are mainly to our east. But there are some brief downpours over the area right now, some over the triangle, a few back towards Wake Forest, some showers again that moved just over our studios not too long ago, moving to the north and west now of the loop and continue to make their way to the west and northwest. More showers back towards Lillington, a couple of downpours there, and a few more showers back towards Goldsboro, Snow Hill, Fremont seeing a few showers as well, and Rocky Mount a few downpours near you, with Nashville seeing a couple of showers just to the south. Tropical storm Chantal, as the 5 p.m. advisory, is 165 miles southwest of Wilmington, North Carolina, 45-mile-per-hour winds. Here's the latest track, pushing to the north and west, making landfall over South Carolina early tomorrow morning, then pushing north, then northeast. As it moves, it'll bring impacts inland as well. Of course, tropical storm warnings in place for much of the coastline up towards parts of North and South Carolina, but also going to bring a lot of rainfall throughout the day tomorrow and into Monday, up to 2+ inches of rain, some higher amounts just to the south. I'll break down some more details on the timing of showers and storms here and some other impacts all the way to the coastline coming up.
And some ways to prepare for Chantal here in the WRAL Live Center. Duke Energy sent this email out to customers today. Let's check this out. They warn of possible downed trees, downed power lines due to heavy rain and, of course, those high winds. Now, here's how you can help yourself and others. Report outages on the Duke Energy website, the app, or text out to 57801. There's a call option too. That's at 800-POWER-ON, 800-769-3766. You can also get outage alerts from Duke Energy or visit their Storm Center online. And just in case the power does go out, make sure any plans are in place for the elderly or those with special needs. The release ends with this: stay safe and, as always, avoid those down power lines. Back to you.
Megan, thank you. And Tropical Storm Chantal is creating some dangerous swim and surf conditions along the coastal Carolinas. Just look at that live picture coming in from Carolina Beach there. Many people, of course, vacationing there for the holiday weekend. Red flags are waving at beaches near Wilmington as we again take that live look over there at Carolina Beach. WRAL's Laura Levine breaks down the high rip current risk in effect and what beachgoers should be aware of.
The 4th of July weekend may feel like the perfect time to dip your feet in the sand or ocean. However, as Tropical Storm Chantal reaches the Carolina coast, getting in this water is too risky.
Under no circumstances should you get into the water. Although it might look, calm out there. We don't have, 8-foot swells coming in. Rip currents can occur at any time, anywhere along the beach.
Sam Proffitt, the ocean director at Wrightsville Beach, tells me more than 40 lifeguards are on standby as life-threatening rip currents are possible this weekend. Red flags are now flying as the storm moves in, warning people of the water's hidden danger.
For most swimmers, the only thing that they notice is that they are unable to make it back to shore. They start swimming, into shore, and they notice that they are moving backwards, and that's typically where the panicking process starts and the whole drowning process then begins.
Nearly 200 rip current rescues took place in just 4 days during the 4th of July week last summer. On Friday alone this year, the National Weather Service says lifeguards rescued 5 people at Carolina Beach and 6 at Wrightsville.
If you are entering the water, the most important things: always swim near lifeguard stand that's staffed and take some form of flotation with you.
He says panicking in the water will only make it worse, but the best advice is to pay attention to the forecast and just try to admire the views from afar.
Probably not the best day to come out to the beach, and if you do decide to, please stay out of the ocean.
Reporting for WRAL News, I'm Laura Levine.
And officials are also warning beachgoers about possible lightning in the area. If you don't see any lifeguards on a stand, that means lightning is likely in a 10-mile radius, and you should seek shelter. You can track Chantal with the newly redesigned WRAL weather app. It's, of course, free to download and use. Remember to turn on push notifications so you can get the latest weather updates sent right to your phone. An urgent search is underway for more than 24 girls from a summer camp in Texas. They went missing during a flash flood. The destructive, fast-moving waters took many by surprise yesterday, killing at least 32 people. 14 of those dead are children. Mike Tobin has more from Kerrville, Texas.
The search continues for more than 24 children who went missing from a summer camp following fierce flooding in the central Texas region.
We know that we are looking for Texans and Americans, and we put them as our top priority. We will find every one of them.
Floods tore through the Guadalupe River as several months' worth of heavy rain fell within hours. Fast-moving waters in the river rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes in the middle of the night on Friday.
Unprecedented, historic. It's like a wheelbarrow of water got dumped here. It's devastating, but we'll recover.
The powerful storm killing at least 24. Search teams using boats, helicopters, and drones are looking for those who are still unaccounted for on Saturday. Friends and families of the missing are posting pictures of their loved ones on social media, making a frantic plea for any information.
We will be working around the clock 24/7 until every person is found.
In addition to the search and rescue, that's the priority right now.
The flooding took locals by surprise in Texas Hill Country, a summer hotspot for camping. Now a path of devastation is left in the area. President Donald Trump calling the floods, quote, terrible. He says his administration is working with officials on the ground.
Oh, yeah, we'll take care of it. We're working with the governor. We're working with the governor. It's a terrible thing.
A flood watch remains in effect for parts of central Texas until later Saturday night. In Kerrville, Texas, Mike Tobin, WRAL News.
Yeah, just an awful situation there. 1 block, 1 hour, 2 shootings. Tonight, the search is on for the suspects in both of these cases. WRAL's Willie Danley joins us live from Glenwood South, the social district there, with this story. Willie.
Eric, I've been out here on Glenwood South for hours now, talking to people about what happened here early this morning. A lot of those people that I talked to told me they were actually out here last night, completely unaware that they were just a stone's throw away from 2 separate shootings. I want you to take a look at this video that was captured by the WRAL breaking news tracker, showing the crime scene last night. According to Raleigh police, the first shooting happened on West Johnson Street near Boylan Avenue. 1 person was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital. 30 minutes later, police responded to another shooting just 1 block away from the first. The crime scene was in a parking deck off of Glenwood South. 1 person was shot multiple times. In both of these shootings, the victims are expected to survive, but no one has been arrested. Since standing out here, I've spoken to several people who live in or visit this area frequently. They tell me hearing of last night's crime is extremely alarming.
So I actually live right across the street, and hearing that 2 shootings happened last night definitely makes me worried to sort of wander the streets alone or even with friends, especially considering I had never heard anything like this had happened on Glenwood before. So that's really concerning, honestly.
If you've ever been out here on Glenwood South on a weekend night, you know that this street is heavily policed. People living around this area tells me that news makes it even more shocking. I've reached out to Raleigh police to learn if there are any suspects or persons of interest in either of these shootings. I'm waiting on that response, and I also reached out to them asking if they'll be increasing security here on Glenwood South. On Glenwood South, Willie Danley, WRAL News.
Willie, thank you very much. Also, Raleigh police have arrested a man in connection with another early morning shooting that happened in an apartment complex on Conifer Drive. That's off Avon Ferry Road. It happened just before 5 a.m. 1 man was critically wounded. Police arrested 22-year-old Orlean Lopez Izaguirre in jail tonight without bond. His charges include assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. He has a court appearance set for Monday afternoon. A man was injured in a shooting that happened during a 4th of July party early this morning. Hillsborough police were called to a home on Riddle Avenue just before 1 a.m. Officers say they found a 33-year-old there who was shot in the leg in that home with about 25 people inside. Police say the shooting happened after a fight, or an argument rather, between the man and another person. Investigators are working to learn more about the people involved. Several people are displaced after a fire destroyed 8 apartment units in Durham this morning. Firefighters were called to the Soho apartment homes on Chalk Level Road just before 9 a.m. The professional firefighters of Durham shared this helmet camera video of the fight inside that building. Just unbelievable moments there. Those firefighters thankfully got that fire under control in just 15 minutes. The apartment's property management company is now helping people displaced by that fire with temporary housing. Fire destroyed a townhome in Durham. This happened on Castle Lock Lane. The fire engulfed all 3 floors of the house. 52 firefighters responded to the fire and were able to get it out in just over 30 minutes. 2 families were displaced there. The cause is still under investigation. North Carolina history. A museum has reopened under new leadership this weekend. Hear what the Tobacco Farm Life Museum means to the Johnston County community. Plus, celebrating the Eno, the 46th annual Eno Fest returned to the banks of the river. How you can attend the event's last day next. Welcome back. Taking a live look there from the WRAL studio tower. An absolutely beautiful end to our Saturday on this long holiday weekend. A dogfight, pets escaping, some even dying. WRAL investigates troubling findings at kennels.
Hearing all that, what do you think? I think I will probably double check some things at our boarding facility.
Now, Monday night at 6, WRAL investigates what the state is doing to hold kennels accountable, how you can check the history before you send your pet. Johnston County's Tobacco Farm Life Museum near Kenly officially reopened to the public this morning. The museum welcomed dozens of guests in to learn of how things once were in eastern North Carolina. Visitors included some old-timers familiar with the way it was and some young people seeing some of it for the first time. Longtime resident Faye McLean said times were tough being raised on a tobacco farm back in the 40s and 50s.
It's hard to imagine back in the 40s, 50s, what life was like without electricity, without modern conveniences, but it was daily life for everybody.
Yeah, this time of year without air conditioning. The museum was originally opened by and staffed by volunteers back in 1983. Back then, the locals shared their history and gave actual farm tours to travelers passing through Kenly so visitors could see their work being done firsthand. The museum is now part of the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources and will be open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 until 4 p.m. They plan future events and educational kids activities on the weekend. More than 20,000 people are expected to gather this weekend along the banks of the Eno River for, hey, what else? The 46th annual Eno Fest. The festival supports conservation programs and advocates for sustainable development along the river, which spans more than 7,000 acres. This year, more than 60 music artists are performing across 4 stages, along with local food trucks, storytellers, crafts, and more.
I've lived in Durham for 6 years now, and this is my first time coming out, and I want to come back every year now.
Now, the festival continues tomorrow from 10 until 2. Tickets are $35 for adults and $10 for children ages 5 to 17. You can, of course, buy tickets at the gate. And you know what, Grant, I think we got to be thankful that Eno Fests looked like it did today and not like that view of Carolina Beach. That is nasty.
Yeah, surf is starting to pick up there. Some showers now falling over that area, and we'll see increased surf throughout the course of the weekend. A higher risk for rip currents. Impacts to the coastline will be low, but again, we'll still have impacts throughout the course of this weekend and the start of the work week as Tropical Storm Chantal moves closer to the area. In Carolina Beach, that view there, you can see the rough surf, those winds starting to blow those flags pretty quickly now atop the Ferris wheel there. You can see the Tropical Storm Chantal moving to the north and west, and with that wrapping some tropical moisture around it, bringing some downpours locally, but again, not as widespread for now. They'll become more widespread over the course of the next 12 to 24 hours. You can see there are some bands of showers and storms now stretching through areas just northwest of Greenville down through Goldsboro to the south, a few showers back towards Fayetteville, and one storm just south of Sanford. And these will become more widespread over the next couple of days. Rip current risk going to be high all the way through Monday. Coastal impacts are lower, but it's still going to be breezy, still going to have heavy rainfall possible. Localized flooding is going to be possible. And same for local impacts, going to be on the low end, but still some brief tornadoes can't be ruled out and some localized flooding. So there are some threats, but they aren't It's not a super high threat with this. It's a weaker tropical storm. So winds right now at 45 miles per hour. It'll strengthen just a bit more before it makes landfall over South Carolina, then move north, then northeast. Don't want to discount that threat, though. Going to have heavy rainfall throughout much of the day tomorrow. 80% rain chance by 6 o'clock. That continues through 9 p.m. But look at these green bars throughout the day. 50 to 80%, a good chance for scattered, then widely scattered showers and storms throughout the day. And here's outlooks on Futurecast. Through tonight, isolated downpours continue mainly towards the Sandhills and points east, back towards the coastal plain, back towards Wilmington, where those showers continue to work inland. Then by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, as that system moves inland, heavier downpours start to stretch inland up towards Lillington, Sanford, Smithfield, Goldsboro, and continue to work their way north. More bands of showers and storms through 2, 3 o'clock, becoming more widespread through the evening. And depending on where this low tracks, some areas could see downpours move over certain spots over and over again. And with that, we could see some localized flooding tomorrow. So watch out for that. Be careful on the roadways if you encounter some of that flash flooding in a few spots. The rain will continue all the way through early Monday. It'll weaken over time. This system will weaken through Monday, but still some heavy downpours will continue overnight into early Monday morning. Level 204 flood threat for the majority of the area. So for the triangle back towards the Sandhills and points west, most areas are a level 204 threat now. Some areas are under a level 104 threat. Regardless, localized flooding is possible. And a level 1 of 5 threat of severe weather. That's going to be the possibility for a brief spin-up tornado. We commonly see that with tropical systems. Those bands of showers and storms can be brief spin-up. But again, it's a low-end threat, a level 1 of 5 across the area. So Chantel is going to bring heavy downpours throughout much of the day tomorrow. Watch for the widespread rain. 87 for the high. Going to be a cooler day tomorrow. Then back to the mid-90s by Tuesday. So some hot temperatures are going to return. Then more scattered storms for the rest of the week. But watch those impacts tomorrow from Chantal. We'll have some widespread rain across the area, so need the rain gear handy.
Yeah, umbrellas at the ready. Grant, thank you very much. All right, from a not quite hurricane to, well, the hurricanes. Chris, there's something that's got fans pretty excited this week.
Absolutely. A big-time star absolutely wanted to come to Raleigh, making this place a true free agent destination. After the break, Nikolai Ehlers talks to reporters for the first time after signing with the Canes, how he feels this team can take his game to the next level. That's next in sports.
The interest that Carolina has shown was something that, obviously helped a lot with the decision making. So it made me very excited.
Don't let the hockey world chatter fool you. The Carolina Hurricanes are our destination franchise these days, and the team acquiring a star like Nikolai Ehlers is proof of that. Ehlers spoke to the media today for the first time as a Carolina Hurricane. He told reporters he wanted to be here, and he thinks he can grow more as a player in the Carolina Hurricane system. And with Rod Brind'Amour as his coach, the 29-year-old believes that with his speed, he can help make the Canes' offense be a little bit more lethal.
The stress game that Carolina plays in the sense when they don't have the puck, for example, trying to get the puck back as quick as possible. I think my speed, I'm able to do that. I think with my speed, I can create a lot of room for the other guys as well. And I believe that, I will fit in very nicely. And that's obviously something you look at as well when you try to make a decision. But I talked to Rod and we had kind of the same vision about how things are going to go.
So let's recap. The Canes have their top-line winger that's also a playmaker in Nikolai Ehlers. They also brought in Keandre Miller from the New York Rangers to strengthen their blue line, but they've lost Brent Burns and Dmitry Orlov. Where do the Canes stand? 99.9 fans Dennis Cox breaks down where the Canes are 5 days into the free agency period.
If you look at this Carolina Hurricanes team right now, after the first few days of free agency, compared to how they ended last season, it's a better team already. They got more skilled up front with the addition of Nikolai Ehlers, which is going to help continue to balance out the lines for the forwards. But also you got younger with the additions of Keandre Miller, but also you're going to have a full-time player in your top prospect, Alexander Nikishin, coming up. So this team is better already than what it was last season. Now you're going to lose Dmitry Orlov, you're going to lose Brent Burns, you're going to lose Jack Roslovic, but the players that we're going to be bringing in to replace those guys are going to be better, especially in the long term. Might not see it instantly in October, November, but as the season progresses, you'll see why those additions matter so much. The biggest concern still for the Carolina Hurricanes, at least amongst their skaters, is can you find a consistent top 2 center to go along with Sebastian Aho. That's where this team has really lacked so far. If you look at the last few years for Jesperi Kotkaniemi, a player that the Carolina Hurricanes signed to an offer sheet from the Montreal Canadiens several years ago and also gave an 8-year contract where he's making $4.82 million, he hasn't made enough offensive progression to justify that contract yet so far. But can Carolina add a second center to go along with Sebastian Aho? Someone that can score but also distribute the puck to some of these great wingers that have been added. And every team around the NHL is trying to find that number 2 center as well. It's not going to happen in free agency. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to have to make a trade and have to potentially make a big one in order to get that second center.
The streets of Chicago have been turned into a road course for NASCAR. IZ driver Shane Van Gisbergen locked in pole position today. We'll have more in this unique race tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock. Just imagine the whole street's taking over.
Chris, I always love that view when they've done that race before. We'll have to join at 10 and 11 o'clock. Thank you for joining us tonight.